Hello friends, welcome back to Confessions of a Hmong Shaman. Today is going to be vlog number 3. For today's video, it's going to be a little scattered. It's just going to be about my thoughts and what I've learned so far for this new year. There were a few things where I missed for the second vlog, which would consist of a place that I was kind of intrigued to visit. Well, I was really looking forward to it because the name was very intimidating. Okay, so the name of that place is called Zunyu Gatai Nyu Zunyu Gatai Ning. So I was expecting like to see the devil or something like that. I don't know why, but maybe I watched too much movies. But I was really looking forward to seeing it, and when I went there, it just turned out to be a big old furnace, right? Because that was a place where you send your old papers and cloths and things like that. That everything that you used last year, you would send out to that place to get burned. But yeah, it turned out to be a furnace, so a little disappointed. Now on to the next topic. So far this year, I've done about 25 Shayai sessions, okay? So, something that I've been noticing was that the cases, they come in waves, right? So, like, 2 or 3 cases back to back will have, like, super similar details. If it's, like, abortions, then it would be, like, 2 or 3 abortions together. And then it will be like 2 or 3 cases of that together. And then I've also been getting a lot of people that mokoning and some that aren't. Those are still a little bit confusing, so we'll just update those as we progress. And then I've been running into a lot of people with attachments for like birds and things like that. And then when the birds come in, they kind of come in waves too. So like 2 or 3 cases would deal with like dot birds and things like that. And I have had a few Ja cases, but we'll see how those turn out, okay? On to the next topic. So the next topic is the new guides that I got. So I'm still kind of getting used to them. It's the Tengsha guides, right? So I think of them like similar to Buddhas, but I feel like they're the one from heaven that reach enlightenment already. Don't quote me on this, but I could be wrong. These guides are fairly clean and they like pretty things. And with these guides, usually comes restrictions that you can no longer do. I haven't found much restrictions besides not being able to kill chickens, which I had that before, but I feel like I have really bad luck in like gambling or high risk things, so I stay away from casinos and stocks and things like that. I'm not sure if anybody has any issues with that, but that's the restrictions I have so far. As far as the gifts and abilities of these guides, I've been having a lot of premonition dreamings of my sessions before it starts. Like the morning of, my guides will come in the form of a dream and kind of play out how the session is going to turn out or what's going to happen in the session. And then later on that night, I usually have a session that falls pretty close to that. So I'll give you guys an example. So one morning, I dreamed that for some reason mỗi tôi giờ lo phải chơi tôi giờ lo chơi nên sự hay quá cho nên tôi có lọt nó cũng hay có light joy cái một giờ trong cái sự chỉ joy vậy. In my head I'm thinking like, why the hell is he telling me this? I don't even hunt. And then I walked up towards him and then he starts talking to me, right? And then I wake up and then later on that night someone calls me for a session for their dad. So their dad went hunting So right off the back, I'm like, okay, maybe it's like word for word, right? But the spirits speak in like metaphors and things like that. So it was a little confusing. And then first thing I said to him, I was like, dude, I had a dream that you or somebody went hunting and like she lied to the. And then he's like, oh, something did happen when I went hunting, but I didn't meet no tigers, right? And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then later on, he starts telling me what happened. So he went there, and I guess either made or tao pot nữa, chị nì chênh phải không? Nì nên trai ta cái nì chênh á. And then ever since then, he's been yeah, like korape, like nhỏ thì bên thiệp lại, nhỏ thì bên thiệp lại phải không? Cũng mất tỉnh táo, but we'll see if it gets better, okay? But that was just kind of crazy. Then later on, I interpreted that dream, right? Or I asked like a law or like my dad of them. So I'm like, hey, what happens when you dream about a tiger, right? And then they're like, oh, good. Lu jaw like a tiger or to jaw symbolize yeah, lu drum or lu and do to yeah. They said that when you dream of seeing a tiger, then it means like a death in the family. But because my dream I didn't get to see the tiger. Like so I was thinking like so that's why a incident that happened. So because he didn't meet the tiger, then that means that he was near death. So I don't know if that makes sense or not, but like to me it did, but I could just be maybe trying to see where things connect. But yeah, that's just what happened so far. And then with some of the gifts of these new guides, I've had slightly better vision. Not that my vision was too bad, but generally Mengdo or Jingdo and the translations in the tongue language or Lumashona, like very smooth now. And then we'll go on to the next topic. So I'm just kind of like keeping track of how much work I put into this thing is however much I'm gonna get out of it. So I try to measure how many sessions I do and things like that, just so like metrics, so that I can find ways of getting better, right? So as of last year, I probably had like 6 good months of actually doing 6 or 8 months of actually doing this. Since my mom passed away, then I took out like 4 months. So, but then I ended up doing about 60 actual jingles session, and then about 60 or so shayai. So with that, with practice comes confidence, right? Same thing with, you think of us as like a doctor or like a lawyer, right? Doctor and lawyer is like the practice of something, right? It's a matter of opinion. So like with more practice, you get better. So even if you look up the definition, doctors is practice of medicine and lawyers is practice of law, right? So far this year, it's been about 3 weeks in. I've probably done close to about 8 sessions a week, so about like 25 chai sessions. I haven't really done much jingles because I feel like I know the steps already, and I try not to do it unless I have to, because it's time consuming. I have to, every time I do it, then you can't have anything old, so all the water gets swapped out, all the flour, all the like basically recleaning the whole altar. I do it whenever I have to reclean my altar, but I try not to do it as often. And then something really interesting that I found out, right? I found out that like our main leads is usually a pair, and it usually consists of one male and one female, and they would be the same race, so, or ethnicity, or whatever you want to call it, okay, or lineage. So like if your main leads is native, then the other one's going to be native. If it's Tingsha, then the other one is going to be Tingsha. Or if it's Ja, then the other one's going to be Ja, right? But don't quote me on this. This is just what I'm thinking so far, because I did do a session for a sister, and to first to grow, and then I saw a guy afterwards. So I ran across my master and my Ning sister, which her vision's pretty crazy, but I ran across them, and they're like, yeah, it's normally like that. So that's why we call it Mituta Ning means right? Also, a few questions that a few of you guys have asked me is that, like, how many guides do we actually have? So I think I've said this once, but I'll say it once again. So the amount of guides that you have is not like a set or a definite number, right? It's not like you only have like 10 or 20 or X amount of number. As you progress through the years, you will accumulate more depending on what you need for that year. So it's like the heavens already know that maybe Hyungno, you're going to deal with a lot more of a certain kind of ning or a certain kind of problem, that they'll send you all the ones that you need. But then that's going to come back and depend on how much good deeds you did and things like that. And you also want to think about you a right? Your two main leads is like general, and then there's a group under them that is like your sergeants or lieutenants or captains or whatever you want to call them, right? And then you have a whole army behind you, so you can call whoever you need and whenever you need. If you guys, or if there are those that have already risen, I would love to hear some experiences of like battles and things like that, because I don't know about others, but when I get into a fight or a battle, like你 feel 容易你就唔會爽嘅頭你拖晒落去多咁你種你就生 and then you could see the progress like moving back and forth, or if it's stalemate or things like that. And then quite a bit of few people have asked me, like, then what's the difference between everyone's guides, right? I don't think there's much of a difference. Like, the difference between everyone's guides is just that you might see some things that I don't, but then I feel like all the steps that we take is the same. Like, you call someone you chu itu but then when you get there, your guides might take you different places depending on what kind of issues that family have, because nobody's family is going to have the same issues. So it's like your guides really matter at that particular point only, but everyone else follows the same roadmap or footprint, because we're still going to we're still going to do that. And when you go inside, you think shade like who has issues and where, and I think that's really when your guides matter. And then there's also been a few of you guys that ask for financial or career advice or fortune advice and things like that. The reason why I don't do those is because those depends on how much effort you put in your life. So if you do nothing and you're just waiting for something magical to happen, it's probably going to be a pretty slim chance that anything is going to happen at all. People think that sometimes we're fortune tellers or that we can see the future, but you are in charge of your own future. So if for any reason you want something, like, go out, work for it, get it, and luck will help you on the way, okay? Just like some people think that rising or putting up an altar will solve all your issues and make all your problems go away, but that's totally not true. When you rise or when you put up your altar, you're tested even more and you're held at a higher standard than everyone else, okay? Because everything you do can count against you. Also, another thing that I was like ran across or kind of learned along the way, right? Since a lot of people reach out for like pregnancy help and things like that. So I did meet a case where two sister and the new two 청녀 달고요. It broke because, well, I talked with my master too to see like how is it possible that two 청녀 다또, right? And then her answer to me was that when you abort kids or when you have like miscarriages that are intentional, then the bridge can break or the chomnyo dato. So for this instance, I feel like both or this particular person had two miscarriages, but I feel like both of them were intentional. And then now the or it wasn't connected. Now we'll just move on to the last topic and we'll sum it up for this episode. So I just wanted to touch topic upon like at least Shoning. I keep telling my master the same thing because it's like we're newer generation shamans, right? And we're pretty Americanized. So like don't quote me on this, but if anybody说 like the first time if I hear that or see or if you guys have seen that before, then let me know because I totally want to see it. I don't think it's possible, but I could be wrong. So Lushoning is not natural, or Lushoning is not natural in the context of like a law I think that's not natural. What is natural to me is or like the tongue language, right? That's natural. I can do that with ease, and I don't have to try, right? But for Lu Shuoning by itself, the tone and the way that they say things, that I think comes with practice. The reason why I say this is because most of like law that so so I think that's how that happens, but I've tried it. Doesn't work for me. Let me know though if anybody molu shoning that is natural. Like lu masho, I get it. That comes out natural. Like, but then lu shoning, I think it's a learned. I think it's a learned thing. And that but I could be wrong. Again, if anybody has experienced something like that or does do it naturally, let me know because I'd love to hear more about it. I think this is going to sum it up for the vlog number 3. I know I talked quite a bit and about quite a lot of information and topics. So if you guys found this helpful, if everybody can help share so that we can help touch some people that we wouldn't have been able to help, I think I'd appreciate that a lot. If anybody has any stories or anything like that that they would like to share, go ahead and send us an email. I do have a few stories coming up, but I'm still waiting to see how it unravels, okay? So I don't want to release it like prematurely. So just wait on that, and we should see a few stories come out in the next few weeks. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in with me, and I'll see you guys on the next one.